speaker who's walked up here while music is playing. I am delighted to be here amongst fellow youth and change makers who believe in the youth of this continent. My name is Rita Kimani, and I'm on a mission to transform agriculture in Africa, to change the mindset from I farm to farming is my business, that I can actually make money out of farming. As you've heard, FarmDrive is all about making access to finance for the underserved smallholder farmer a reality. And FarmDrive has the potential to impact 50.6 million smallholder farmers in Africa and increase their incomes by more than threefolds. But many would ask, who is Rita to have such an ambition? Who am I to have such an ambition? I'm a farm girl from a rural village in the western part of Kenya. And growing up in my community, I experienced firsthand the many challenges that smallholder farmers face. The output of our very hard work would always be a meager harvest. We would harvest only 4 bags of maize out of a whole acre of land. And do you know how much an acre of land should yield on average? In Kenya, an acre of land should be yielding a whole 40 bags of maize. So from a young age, I decided to focus all my efforts in acquiring skills that would empower me to be part of the solution to some of these challenges that I saw growing up in a rural village. And when I got the rare chance to study, I decided to study computer science at the University of Nairobi. I understood how technology, especially mobile technology, could impact the lives of farmers. And because I was committed and dedicated, I excelled at computer science and graduated with first-class honors. And not just any first-class honors, I was top of my class. And that is not really a mean feat given that computer science is actually a male-dominated industry. But I'm not alone on this journey. Paris Bosire is my co-founder. We not only share the mission to transform agriculture in Africa, but also very similar backgrounds. Paris is also a farm girl who grew up in a rural village in Western Kenya. She also studied computer science and graduated with first-class honors. But let's go back to why were we harvesting only 4 bags of maize out of a whole acre of land that had the potential of 40 bags of maize? Because we had no collateral, no data, no credit, no fertilizer, no seeds, remaining trapped in poverty. Season after season, we recycled seeds from the previous harvest. We never used any fertilizer, and modern farming tools were never employed. But this was not because we wanted to cling so hard on the old farming practices that we were used to, but because we lacked access to finance. We could not afford all this. And it is unfortunate that access to credit is conditioned on collateral or data such as credit histories, bank statements, cash flow records, which unbanked farmers who have little or no financial management skills lack. These traditional lending models simply cannot work for the smallholder farmers. But so how are we tackling this at FarmDrive? We've built an innovative technology platform that captures data on farmers, such as what are they planting, where are they planting, what are their expenses and revenues, what are their yields. And all this is done via SMS, while at the same time acting as a financial management tool. Because now the farmers start keeping those records, and they now start becoming financially aware of their business. But we don't just use self-reported data. We're more sophisticated than that. We also capture data from along the value chains, agricultural value chains from key actors such as input suppliers and produce buyers, so that we are able to validate and ensure that the self-reported data is actually credible data. And then we transform all this data into innovative credit profiles using clever algorithms that we've built. And now using these innovative credit profiles, then now financial institutions are able to lend to farmers, given that they now have access to readily available and reliable data. And the impact that credit access can have on farmers is unimaginable. Because for many of these farmers, it's not that they require $1,000 to make a difference. Even $10 can make a difference once this farmer is able to access quality seeds at the beginning of their planting season. And so far, we've had amazing traction and support from farmers. I'll tell you the story of Stephen. Stephen Huho is a 30-year-old farmer. He's married, has 2 very beautiful children, and Stephen farms on a 1 acre of land in Fadhi, a village in central Kenya. Stephen has always been looking for solutions and anything that would enable him improve his farming and that of his community. And this led him one day into an internet cafe. And as he was searching for solutions in the web, he came across FarmDrive and was very intrigued by our solution. He immediately signed up via SMS and started keeping records on his farming. He could then now request for reports to analyze and see, is he making profits out of his farming? And he soon realized that some crops were actually making him profits, while others he was making losses. And because of that, he was able to now start focusing on what was more profitable for him. And when he needed credit to buy quality seeds during the next planting season, using his mobile phone, he was actually able to apply for a loan and receive it on his mobile phone. But Stephen did not just stop at his own personal success, at his being able to acquire quality seeds at the beginning of the season. Because of him, we're now working with over 100 farmers in his community who now have access to finance and modern markets. And it is such aspiration and ambitions that the youth have, not just for themselves, but for the community at large, that just keeps us focused in helping the farmers and especially the youths. The youths are innovative, energetic. They're looking for ways to farm just beyond getting a hoe in the morning and going to the farm. They're looking for innovative ways. And for us to support them, then there is need that the solutions we come up with are solutions that capture their aspirations and ambitions, are solutions that are inclusive, valuable, and transformative. And as I speak about transformative solutions, let me also tell you a story of a microfinance institution that we are partnering with in Kenya. It's called Musoni. Musoni is a tech-driven microfinance. They are paperless, they are cashless, and data-driven. They do all their they do all the opening accounts via tablets. And they're now able to even make loan payouts and receive payments via M-Pesa. But despite being all tech-driven, Musoni still had to send loan officers out into the fields to collect information about the farmers. And this was not cost-effective. It was timely and very costly. And so when we partnered with them, they were very excited about our solution because with our data, with the innovative credit profiles, then they're able to reach more farmers. They're able to serve farmers faster, and their costs have been brought down significantly. And they can't wait to get hold of more and more data from FarmDrive. But the model I've just described is using data from the farms, or if I may, data from the ground. We have realized that we can make this data hugely richer by incorporating data from the sky. There are thousands of low-orbit satellites that are taking photographs of every acre of land in Africa. With the power of data analytics, we can be able to analyze those photographs and generate income statements from the farm boundaries, from the patterns of the rooftops, from examining the lushness of the vegetation. There are also many satellites that are collecting weather information on rainfall, temperature, humidity, and all this information is very important in determining whether crops will be successful or not at the end of the season. And when you think about the power of combining the data from the ground that we're now using and this data from the sky, then this is going to be incredibly powerful and transformative. But to be able to do all this, then there is need for more resources. I'll tell you that this far we've come as FarmDrive. We've actually bootstrapped all along. And it's thanks to the fact that we studied computer science and have the technical skills that we've been able to build this solution. But to be able to impact more farmers, and we're aiming at least 1 million farmers by 2020, but there are many more farmers to be served. And this just requires additional resources for us to build a huger data analytics team, to employ more sales personnel. And the good thing or the beauty of our solution is that it is a solution that can work anywhere in Africa because you do not need to visit the farmer. They send data via the SMS, and you're using also data from the sky. So the potential of this is incredible. It's unimaginable. And as we sit together today to just discuss how we can empower the youths more, then I encourage you and I motivate you to actually think beyond or outside the box. It's really interesting the way we've been working, and with especially financial institutions. I'm sorry if you're from a financial institution, but most of them are very shy about innovations. But throughout this summit, I want to encourage you to think beyond what you're used to, because what you're used to has brought you this far. To move on to the next level, to move this continent to the next level, then we need to think outside the box. We need to do things differently. And I call upon all of you to actually do things differently today. And as we're addressing youth financing, there's something that I really like to talk about because I've seen it a lot happening in my country. Because giving a farmer finance and they have no access to markets, they have no access to information that can actually help them improve their farming practices is not helpful. And one unique thing about agriculture is that for any substantial progress to be made, then collaboration among the different solution providers, collaboration among the different organizations that are solving the different challenges for these farmers is imperative. I can tell you about something I've also observed in my country is that the government actually released something we call the Youth Fund, that many youths were able to actually apply for loans and build greenhouses. But when you go, we've come across many youths who've eventually abandoned their greenhouses. Yes, they got the finance, but some of them planted tomatoes and never found market for their tomatoes. While others went ahead and planted the tomatoes, but the tomatoes were all destroyed by a pest that if they had information would have been prevented. So I applaud Mastercard for championing a holistic approach to solving these challenges, because that's the only way that we'll actually be able to make any substantial progress in agriculture. And as we have this rare opportunity to discuss and find practical solutions of actually engaging the youth in agriculture, I believe that engaging these youths who are innovative, who are energetic, who are very ambitious, is going to change the story of Africa. Thank you.